Hello everybody, welcome to my channel. It's Pay Time. Today I have a special treat for you all. I have one of my aunts here who is a true Liberian legend, who is a part of history. Do you guys have anybody in your family that's a part of history? I have one here, and I wanted her to share two of her experience that I think make her a part of Liberia history. And she's going to share that here with us. I want to introduce my aunt to you all. This is Miss Rebecca Teewia. Say hi to Rebecca.
Hello, everybody.
Okay. So let me tell you the reasons that I have Auntie Rebecca here today. There's no way Liberia is celebrating its 179th anniversary as an independent country, the first independent country in Africa. So this is going to be celebrated this year in July. But you cannot go through Liberia history without going through different separate parts. And one of these parts, or two of these parts, she's actually got to live it. The first one that we're going to talk about is the coup that happened. The coup that happened with Dole taking over and the government officials, there are 13 government officials that were actually killed during that time when he took over. And she got to live a little bit of that history. And also, she will share with us how living in the 70s, she's one of the first women. Some of you guys may have met somebody, but imagine being in the 70s and knowing how to drive. She's going to share that experience there with us today. So, Auntie Rebecca, tell us a little bit about yourself before we talk about the coup.
All right. You want to know about the driving part or my life?
Your life. Let's talk. There was a little bit of a brief background. Which part of Liberia were you from? Where were you born?
Okay. Yeah. My name is Rebecca Teewia. Originally, I was Teewia before I got married to the Teewia. And I grew up in Sino, Greenville County. Sando County, Greenville is the capital city. Actually, I'm a child that grew up in the countryside and went to school through my elementary and came up to Monrovia, and that's where I completed my high school. Before I came to Greenville, I completed my high school before I moved in Monrovia, where I met my husband and we got married. And when I started having my children, okay.
Okay. So go ahead, tell us about your husband. What makes your husband special?
Well, my husband actually he was a man working. We are all for the interior side, but he went to school and do his secretarial work and was working with Mr. Speaker of the House, Richie Henries. He was the secretary for Richie Henries.
Okay.
That made me travel more, some of my experience travel in different countries. Which
So for those of you who don't know who Richard Henry is, he's one of the members that was actually killed during the coup, the Turkmen coup. He was a part of that government. So those 13 officials that were killed, that's one of the reasons I wanted her to be on this interview for us who don't know, especially the kids that are here, because she has children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren that are actually living in the U.S. that may not know a part of this history. So her husband was not a politician, but he was the secretary to the politician. That's a key name, Richard Henry. So tell us a little bit more about that.
well, Richie Henry was, he was, as he said, a lot of people know him because he been a Speaker of the House for the President William V.S. Tubman. And when Tubman died, he continued working as Speaker with Tubman. And he is one of the official and the founder of the Liberian, those who know him, government, they are the people that brought Liberia up. As my niece want me to say this,
Yeah.
but I'm a person, I'm not a talking person. But a little that I can remember and I can explain to her, that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Richard Henry was a mentor from
Two
the-
presidencies.
yeah.
So two long-term presidency. He was the Speaker of the House, and he was also an author.
the same president, he been Speaker of the House for President within the third month and for third one. And my husband was working with him. He was a right hand person. Everywhere he traveled,
Yeah.
he carried him.
So everywhere. So imagine having to go to these different countries for representation.
Yeah.
Her husband was always there with them.
Yeah.
Always there. So if he had to go to Europe, but if he had to go to the U.S. and anything like that,
Anyway.
he was there with her. So he knew everything that was going on.
And
But
at that time, I used to travel with them too.
And she also used to travel with them.
Wherever my husband go with me, he would carry me. It made me have little experience traveling with different countries. He is from Europe and then America, and then this is my fourth time coming to America, and I never went by. I'm here now, but I travel so many places with my husband in Europe. I can remember.
One of the reasons that I thought, because when I heard her talking about it, she was pretty much describing the day when they were looking for all of the people that were involved with that government. And she told me that she had to hide her husband underneath the bed, right, Auntie Rebecca?
Oh yes.
So imagine that. Tell us a little bit about that, especially us that don't know, that wasn't there. Tell us a little bit of how that experience was.
Well, people that know about the coup at the time, the people that directly working with those BP men and things, they're close to the secretary, and those that are very close to them, they were looking for them too.
Mm-hmm.
And my husband was one of the persons that they were looking for. They even came to our house to ask for my husband. And when they came there, that's when he went on our bed to hide there because the soldier came with guns in our yard. They want to see my husband. I told them my husband was not there. But he was right in the room.
So he was underneath the bed.
Yeah.
About how many soldiers would you say came?
About 3 men came with one of their big men. And 3 men were with him. And they came with their guns. And he was so afraid. He wanted me to hide myself. I said, no. I didn't do anything. I'm not a government official for anyone to come and to harm me. I didn't do anything. They were asking for him because he know more about Richard Henry.
Mm-hmm.
They want to know about his business, his account, and this and that. And I said, no, he should hide himself. And that's what we did.
So you think if he didn't hide himself, well, so by then you were the one responsible for hiding him. So
Yeah.
you were that good wife.
Yeah,
You protected and saved your household.
I did.
Okay. Where were the children then?
The children, and they were younger, they were on mission.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they were younger. They were on boarding mission. They were not home. But there are a lot of other children in the yard, but they didn't want the children. They wanted him direct. Because he the one they want something from, but not the children.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm afraid when they carry him, they might arrest him and do the same thing, or lock him up and stuff like that. If you don't tell them what they want,
Mm-hmm.
they might do something bad to him.
Yeah.
So I didn't allow them to do that.
So that time when they came to get him,
Yeah.
did the coup already happen, or did they already should put the men on the fire and stop the videos? Because us, that we wasn't there, all we see, and we weren't born then, all we see is the video. Did that already happen?
Yeah, they arrested President because all the people made the official, they arrested them already. And they needed their secretaries and their right-hand people that were with them, that work with them, they needed them. And that's when they came. My husband was one of them.
Mm-hmm.
That's when they came to our house.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I didn't allow them.
So from what I hear from your daughters too, he was such an important part in your life too that you name one of your daughters one or two of your children that was actually named after him.
Yeah.
So it was Henrietta,
Yeah.
and then you had another kid that was named.
And Doris, his wife's name. The speaker.
Wow.
Henrietta, because Henry, that's how he gave my daughter Henrietta and Henrietta.
Mm-hmm.
And our first one, he named her after Doris.
Yeah.
The
Something else that I heard that was unique about your husband of being his secretary is his ability to type, because he had to be the one that to keep records of like the different things. How did he learn that type of skill? And was he a lawyer too with your husband? Or?
After
Mm-hmm.
after Richard Henry died, that's when he went to law school.
Okay.
It was after the coup. But before then, he was not a lawyer. He was just like the private secretary for the state.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you guys hear that? We have somebody here with us. What a legend. How happy it is for us to actually have somebody, people that are actually living. Like I said before, you cannot have Liberia history without knowing about that coup. And you had somebody who lived during that time, who was still here. Anybody in your family, I'm advising, if you're Liberian, not even just Liberian, anybody in your family, older person, ask them to see what type of history they can relate to you. This is what we have here. And I also think the number 2 thing we were going to talk about is driving during the 70s. And I just thought this was such an instrumental thing for her to share. She wasn't even she didn't even intend to share it, but being a young Liberian girl, I don't know anybody. I don't know how many of you, and you may have known somebody, but my aunt was licensed since the 70s to be driving in Liberia. And I thought that as a woman, there's lots of men, but as a woman, to have that privilege to be able to drive. So what made you want to drive into Rebecca?
Actually, it's true that most of our women in Liberia were not driving, but I would love to drive. And number 2, at the time I went back to school, I was going to school. After I got married, I was very young. I got married to my husband, and I wanted to learn more to get my high. At the time, I was not right in high school, so I wanted to learn more. So I asked my husband to go back to school, and we needed a car. We needed a car because he have to go to work from work, and I have to go to school at night, and he cannot be coming from work and pick me up to take me over or carry me to school or bring me from school. So for that reason, he bought a car. He bought a car was on my birthday. It was my 30th birthday at the time. He bought a car for me, and he told me he hired someone to teach me how to drive, but then I was a friend. So they had a driving school there in Liberia. They call it B&M driving school.
B&M driving school.
Yeah.
Where was that located?
It was on Broad Street, on Capitol Hill, Broad Street.
Wow.
That's
And this was about what time period? What year?
It was 1970.
Wow.
Yeah.
So as a woman, as a driver, did you experience any type of discrimination, or was it harder because you were a woman, or things were pretty smooth?
It was not. It was smooth.
It was smooth, good.
Yeah, we don't have that.
Did you know any other women that were driving around that time?
Actually, there were not too much. A lot of us were driving, but most of the women that have cars those days, they have their own drivers, and they are, at that time, it was not too much women driving at the time. Even when I'm driving, children coming to the field, a woman driving car and stuff like that. And so that's what happened.
That's what attracted me about your experience of the driving, because I know if you have a more fortunate or privileged lifestyle, you have a driver that's assigned to you. Mm-hmm. So to actually have somebody, or to know somebody, a woman, Not just because there are people, don't get me wrong, there are people there that drive, but that's
Oh,
a
yeah.
thing that's dominated by males.
Yeah, of
So to
course.
actually know a woman from back then, the 70s, that's actually driving,
I tell you
that's
what,
different.
I tell you what, not too much about driving at that time.
Mm-hmm.
Too much about having car on the
Yeah,
own
you
at
will
that
have
time.
a driver, you know, a
Yeah.
driver be assigned to
Right.
transport you to your wherever you need to go instead of actually doing
Yeah.
the actual driving. And then Rebecca too, also, especially now, something that we know about Liberia is the roads, the bad roads. So how was the roads and stuff driving at that time?
Well, in the roads were not too good, of course, but
Mhm.
they were good enough. People driving on them and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But those days, the traveling in the interior places or stuff like that, we cannot drive ourselves. You have to have transportation.
Mm-hmm.
And those days were those Manigo people they have trucks. So people that have trucks and things and have their own buses to drive, they were privileged to drive those days.
So do you remember where your
Nah.
first ride was?
I never tried to go out of the rural or go up interior or those kind of place where they don't have good roads and things.
Okay.
They were not driving in the city.
In the city, okay.
Yeah, driving in the city.
But what was the first vehicle you drove? Your
Our
own?
first vehicle was Toyota Corolla.
Toyota. Oh, that's what we had. Toyota
Yeah.
Corolla. So how was it then?
Oh, it was nice.
What color?
It was brown looking color.
Uh huh.
Mm-hmm.
Did you drive it with one hand or show us how you hold it?
I drive both hands.
You drove both
Both
hands?
hands and I drive. I'm not an expert now. I was not that kind of. I never be afraid of driving. I was a brave person.
Oh, good.
So I drive with one hand, I drive with both hands, I drive any kind of way I want to drive.
Good.
The only secret that I have that people don't know when I was driving in Liberia, it was when they taught us to drive, we learned how to drive the car and putting your one hand over the car and looking back to do your reversing.
No.
You know, they call it parallel drive, parking. I never knew about that.
You never knew how to parallel park?
No, I came to America before I learned that part.
Okay.
Yeah.
So was that when you came to America learning how to drive, was it easier or harder than you think?
It was a funny thing.
Uh,
When I went to the driving school, I went, you had a pamphlet that you learn how to drive before you had to pass your test before. The first day I passed the test. But when I went on the road driving to do the parallel
parallel
parking, I do not know to do the parallel parking. Well, I learned it, I can say I learned it. But the part about it that I want to say is when I got in the car, all the car elements and stuff like that, I know all that. I do them. But when I got in the car, there was something that I don't know about. When the driver told me, he didn't even let me get in the car. There were a lot of things I didn't know. When I got in the car, the way I moved my car, and when I went on, he told me, get out. I said, what happened? He said, because you already know how to drive more than me. So it no need of me taking you on the road there to learn how to drive. But he didn't know the other secret of me.
So that's
So that was the funny part. He didn't know, so he didn't show me. He just told me to stop because the way I moved the car. I've been driving long before I came here and talking about learning how to drive, and I already know. So he said, man, get out. I said, what did I do? He said, no, just get out. When I got out of the car, he said, you pass. I said, how? He said, because you drive more than me, you have more experience than me, so what in you are taking you on the road, you already know how to drive. So that was a part of me that I was but he didn't know. The other stuff that I don't know to teach me, he didn't know that. I learned it on my own.
So you guys, you see that? we have your experience. It didn't take her a long time to learn how to drive. She knew how to drive better than her instructor.
Yep.
She learned that all of that from Liberia. So we have our aunties, we have our grandmothers, we have our mothers. Speak to your older ones. They have so many stories that they can tell you about life in Liberia that transition over here. They're a part of history. And out of those in Liberia too, search around for those people that were actually there to have those different experiences. Put them in books. Give them the credits and stuff that they deserve. So we have Auntie Rebecca here. Auntie Rebecca, thank you so much for sharing this experience with us. Thank you so much. And congratulations on being a part of history. Thank you.